emphasized in a family which was steeped choose to become a Heyoka. One cannot take classes to learn to become a Heyoka or train to become a Heyoka. There is no way to become certified or apprentice to become a Heyoka. One cannot go up on a hill on a vision quest and dream it up, and one certainly cannot make it up. It is Wakantanka, the great mystery, who chooses the Heyoka before he or she is ever born. Who in their right mind would willingly choose such a life of hardship and sacrifice? End quote. This concept that the Heyoka doesn't choose to become the Heyoka is highly reminiscent of the Mudang spirit channelers of Korea. The Mudangs also claim that they only became a shaman due to suffering great trauma and hardship prior, which opened them up to possession more readily. The truth is, the Wakinyan spirits who bring thunder and destruction are feared greatly by the Lakota people, and it is the Heyoka who is turned to as protector of the tribe from the evil spirits. By mimicking the thunder beings in looks and by performing the correct rituals to the Great Spirit, the Heyoka is hoping to prevent the destruction of the coming storm. This is still done today as a symbolic rite for New Year rituals, a gesture to bring good luck against the coming year's troubles. However, by all oral accounts, the stopping of storms was a real power the Heyoka possessed, along with the ability to avoid harm from fire or weapons, just like the possessed Mudang of Korea, who becomes impervious to damage during their cut ritual. Both the Pueblo clowns and the Heyoka clowns have the same distinctive black and white lined features. Emphasized facial features such as wide eyes or mouths and antennae of varying lengths, just like that of a jester hat. These features could easily be equated to the patterns of black and white corn snakes or any monochromatic reptile, wide eyes and mouths included. The antennae are very reminiscent of horns, not an uncommon feature for a dragon, and a possible feature of the dragon-human hybrids, the Nephilim. This motif is even adopted by European jesters, especially those involved in the Italian carnival, but they would say it is simply to represent the crown of a king. If we observe the koshari kachina of the Pueblo clowns in particular, we also find the performers wearing large red shoes, with a mouth stained with watermelon juice. The performers' red-stained teeth mixed with black and white chalk paint create a similar look to the wide red smile of a modern clown, and that of a gorging cannibal. The red watermelon flesh mimics that of muscle and viscera, uncannily, while large red shoes only accentuate the size of the beast's feet they are channeling. These styles of shoes are a standard for the circus clown of the West, and perhaps it is the Pueblo clown who were the inspiration for their inclusion in the occult caricature created by the Freemasons.
Red Shoe Club.
It can be confirmed that the Heyoka is a representation of the thunder god known as a Wakinyan, a black and white, polka-dot, wide-eyed, eagle-clawed, horned beast who brings destruction in its wake. We can also infer that the sacred clowns of an identical design in the surrounding tribes of the American continent also find their roots in the same creature, due to the aesthetic similarities. This creature comes to the Heyoka in visions, and this ability to see the Wakinyan is a prerequisite to being an official Heyoka. In some visions, he also appeared as a snowbird, a swallow, a horse, a dog, a nighthawk, a frog, or a dragonfly. The Wakinyan has also been equated with being another version of the Thunderbird gods. The Thunderbird is a mystical creature that is said to be the dominating force of an all-natural activity. Located in the Pacific Northwest Mountains, the Thunderbird creates booms of thunder by flapping his wings and shooting bolts of lightning from his eyes. It is believed that during the Great Flood that almost wiped out all living things, a Thunderbird from the clouds transformed into a human and saved the Great Chief who built his home on a mountain. Once the flood receded, the Thunderbird helped gather the survivors and rebuild civilization to that geographical location. This is a perfect example of humans surviving the flood of Noah with the help of rebellious fallen angels. The Thunderbird resembles an eagle, but is distinguished by two curved horns, plumage on his head, or electric snakes under his wings. Legend has it the coastal tribes cried to the Thunderbird for help in times of food shortage, and he did help, but in return requested that from then on he must be shown on top of totem poles with his wings stretched out. That is the reason the Thunderbird appears on top of so many Northwest Coast totem poles today. The shape-shifting nature of these electrified, flying, horned beasts is exemplified through another myth that involves a specific young Thunderbird named Kolu. The story goes that he flew down from heaven, transformed into a human, and became the founding ancestor of the tribe or clan. This is almost identical to the Canary peoples of Ecuador, who believe themselves to be the descendants of a human-bird hybrid after a great flood, discussed thoroughly in Chapter 8. But for now, you can see that the electric flying thunder god has always been a main staple of native lore for the Americans, and their depictions where they are found are very colourful.